Alrighty, here we go again. I think, oh, there's no, yeah, Knucklehead forgot the sign, but I think it's Accordion Cool today. Either that or I'm in the wrong place or you're in the wrong, somebody's, anyway. We have a theme show today. I haven't done a theme show in a long time. Now you may recognize that song I just played as the Tennessee Waltz, but somehow didn't quite sound like a waltz, did it? Nay, nay. As you know, Coach Dave does not play a lot of waltzes on this show. Waltzes are nice. They're nice, as I've said many times before. They're just too dainty. You can't just get down and dirty with them. So today's show, I'm going to play a bunch of waltzes that aren't waltzes. Well, they were waltzes, but when Coach Dave got a hold of them, they're no longer waltzes. We're playing them, you know, kind of little upbeat 4/4 time, and that was the first one. So we call that the Tennessee Not a Waltz. Written in 1946, a fellow named Pee Wee King, I believe, recorded it in 1948, had a big hit on it. Then a young lady came along in 1950 named Patti Page. She recorded it. She only sold 10 million records of the Tennessee Waltz. As a mere lad, I remember my mother and my aunts all singing constantly the Tennessee Waltz. It was probably the biggest, it was obviously the biggest hit in America for quite some time. I remember it so vividly. Of course, Patti Page is probably spinning in her grave if she heard what I just did to it. But anyway, so our next song was written in 1963, came from a movie. Now actually back then, 50s, 60s, this was, actually not in the 50s, it wasn't written in the 50s, it came from a movie in the 60s. But a lot of the accordion books had this song in it as a nice song for students to play. I remember teaching this song to many a young student during those 1960s years. The movie is called Around the World in 80 Days, and of course the song was Around the World in 80 Days. So again, started as a waltz, not anymore. Let's see what happens with this one. Around the World, or Around the World in 80 Days. Well, moving on to our next song. This was also from a movie, 1960. I think the title of the movie was North by Northwest. I think it had something to do with climbing over the Mount Rushmore or stuff like that. I forget really right about now. A song written by Henry Mancini. The movie was called Charade, and the song was called, oh yeah, Charade, which happens to be the title of, I think, the last album I recorded was called, oh, Charade, son of a gun. So a little tune called Charade. Now, I've been doing this tune in 4/4 for a long time. So from the movie 1963, Charade. Charade, Charade, nice tune, and I think it really works as in the 4/4, but that's only me. Well, that next song was from 1961. Now, I believe, if my memory serves me correct, we're in our 8th season here. Yeah, I've had the fool that long. The first song I think I ever played, if I recall correctly, to show the idea of how to make the accordion cool was this next song. And I played a little bit as a waltz, then of course into the cool, you know, 4/4 type thing. Tune called Moon River. Henry Mancini again wrote the tune, 1961, from a movie. What a shock. Movie's Breakfast at Tiffany's. Breakfast at Tiffany's. And Audrey Hepburn sang the song in the movie. So here's well, the whole thing, yeah. Moon River, or Stars River, I don't know, somebody's river. Here we go. A couple of years ago I was on a gig and a lady asked me to play that song. And I said, oh yeah. I said, but you may not like it the way I play it. She says, oh, I love that song. I'll like it any way you play it. So I guess you did, because I'm still here to tell the story. So Moon River, 1961, breakfast at Tiffany's. Well, this next tune, I had been playing it for a little while in 4/4 time, and we were in the car one day and the radio was on, and I heard the song. I said, wait a minute, that's not a waltz. Somebody beat me to it. Somebody had recorded it and it was being played on the radio in 4/4 time like we're gonna do it. And this is from 1963 from the movie Dr. Zhivago. It's called The Love Theme from Dr. Zhivago, or Lara's song, Lara's tune, whatever it is. Boy, I tell you, back in the wedding days, how many times I played this song as oh God. Anyway, here we go. Love Theme from Dr. Zhivago, or Lara's tune. Here we go. Somewhere My Love, theme from Dr. Zhivago or Laura's theme. Take your pick, take your pick. It's known by all three. Well, we're getting down towards the end of our time today, so our last tune is really the song that started this whole, you know, take a waltz and play it, you know, as an up-tempo 4/4 song. And I didn't start it, believe it or not. Some guy named, oh, what's his name? Frank, oh yeah, Sinatra. He was the first one to do it. Now, this song was written in 1954, written as a waltz. It's called Fly Me to the Moon, or In Other Words. Sinatra got a hold of it around 1963, and of course ever since then, I don't think anybody in modern captivity has ever played it as a waltz again. In fact, the first time, the great Corey Pesatoro, three-time world accordion champion, that's a little whippersnapper, was on my show here. We did this tune, and I told this story about this tune starting out as a waltz. Now, Corey, I mean, he's all of, I don't know, in his early 30s. You know, he wasn't even around till almost this century. So he'd never heard it as a waltz. So as I'm talking, he's sitting there kind of humming it to himself as a waltz. He says, wow, he says, that sounds crazy. And of course, we didn't do it as a waltz because he's never even heard it as a waltz. So here we go, a little tune called Fly Me to the Moon. Fly me to them. I don't think in the past 20 years or longer I've ever played a gig where I haven't played that tune somewhere along the day. That's just become like a total jazz standard. Just about every group you hear of, every jazz group, whatever's gonna play that tune at one time or another. Great tune. Didn't really make it as a waltz, but thank you, Frank, for doing that for us. So, well, time to say goodbye. I want to again, as usual, thank you all for watching, listening, tuning in. And you know what I'm going to say? Bring the youngins in, especially today, to hear these songs they probably haven't heard anyway. And if they have, they've never heard them like this. And again, as usual, thank you to Austin. I really put him through his paces today, forgetting half my equipment and everything. But Austin, as usual, came through in the pinch. So let's take it home a little more. Fly Me to the Moon.